previously on NerdTalk.
He meets the Weasleys. He ends up sitting with Ron. They are on the train. They're going to Hogwarts. And then Neville comes in to say he's lost his toad. And he leaves, and then Hermione comes back and says Neville's lost his toad.
See, they met because of Neville. I love Neville. Good job, Neville.
Yeah, I don't know where Hermione was sitting. I guess with Neville, wherever he was. But yeah, they meet, and then Ron's trying to do magic on Peter Pettigrew as a rat. And it's not working, obviously. Besides it being a bad spell, that he's not an animal. He's a person.
It wasn't his, or I guess it wasn't broken yet, his wand, or it wasn't his wand or something.
Yeah, he breaks his wand on the way to school in the second year. They crash into the wall. Welcome back to Nerd Talk with Silver and Ray, where we talk about our favorite topics in TV, movies, gaming, books, comics, and more. I'm Silver.
And I'm Ray.
Hey Ray, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. Pretty good also.
I was actually about to ask. I think I just paused too long.
Okay. I know you would have asked. So today we're talking about more Fallout stuff. And the folks like to like our video on Fallout. We can talk more about it, and you were interested in the vault, so I pulled up the Fallout wiki because there's one for everything, and we'll be able to see what the vaults are by numerical order and what we think about them. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's just get started. So the first vault on the list is Vault 3. Where's Vault 1? Where is Vault 2? I don't know.
Don't know. Question mark.
But yeah, Vault 3 was the control vault, which means it was the only one without an experiment, pretty much. And then where it came up in the fandom is in Fallout New Vegas, which was the 4th game, I guess, because there was a Fallout 2, Fallout 3. So maybe it was the 3rd game, and then they did Fallout New Vegas, then Fallout 3. But I only played Fallout 4 thoroughly. I played a little bit of Vegas and a little bit of Fallout 3. I do want to play more of them because I think it'll be fun to see more about the story and all that.
The lore and all that.
Yeah. But I won't tell you what happens to this control vault, but it's in Fallout New Vegas, and they end up needing like a water thing or something. They're having a water leak, so they didn't want to open the vault for as long as possible until they had this issue, and then they started opening it to other people. So I guess they were just reproducing in there, kind of like the TV show. Did you see the TV show?
No.
Even my mom watched the TV show. What were you doing?
I don't. I'm so bad about modern TV. I just don't watch it.
I guess.
I was probably reading a book.
So I mentioned that to bring up the next vault, which is Fallout. Which is Vault 4, which was in the TV series. So in the TV series, it was the vault for scientists, and they had like a commercial in the TV show before the bombs fell.
Oh.
About this vault and how the scientists were gonna stay there and I guess discover new things or something. But the main protagonist of the show is her and the other guy end up going in there, and they have like one guy, the overseer or something, has one eye, like if they've been doing experiments on each other, and then they started letting people in so they can experiment on the other people they get from the wasteland. So
it's definitely not as controlled as the other one if they're letting people in for experiments.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they ran out of their own people, I guess. So, so they're like, we need new people to experiment on. Let them in. So that was really interesting because, like I said, the guy was a Cyclops. They had like a guy with like an ear on the side of his face or something, like not this side of the face, like this side, or like a nose on the forehead or something.
And this is on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you it's in the Halloween Horror Night house. I still haven't gone. Yeah. Horrible, I know.
Sure. Yes.
Shame.
Then we skip up to Vault 8, which is from Fallout 2. So they left to use their Gek, but you've heard of a Gek machine. It's like a Eden creation thing where they can create a new Eden or something with all the plant life and all that. I think that's what it is. I don't know. There's one like that in Fallout London, which is the massive mod they created for Fallout 4, where the guy, one of the vaults, which they don't call them vaults in that because it's in London. I guess they have different names.
Oh yeah, I guess they have different terms.
But yeah, they're called Pindars in that game, and so in one of the Pindars they have this eating creation machine, and then it ends up like turning one of the guys into a tree.
Oh,
So yeah, it was crazy, but yeah. So this vault's from Fallout 2. So they left on schedule and used their GEC to establish Vault City. So yeah, they used like a Eden creation device to make a new city in the main world. It seems like. So it was also a control vault. So there wasn't just one control vault.
okay.
And then Vault 11 was in Fallout New Vegas in the Mojave Desert. Their social experiment was studying the population's willingness to sacrifice individuals for the safety of the majority. They used falsified threats of a collective punishment. So yeah, social experiments, actual experiments took place in these vaults. So yeah, the ones I remember from Fallout 4 specifically, they have higher numbers in Fallout 4. So it'll probably be a while before we get to those, but it's like 81 and 75 and 95 is in Fallout 4.
Wow.
And then the person you play comes out of Vault 111. But hey, Vault 12 is from the first Fallout. It's in Bakersville, California. It's a medical experiment studying the effects of gradual radiation exposure. The door was designed to not seal correctly.
They set them up to fail.
Right. That was so and then as we talked about before, who's coming back to see how these experiments are going?
Since the reason that they had the opportunity to do these was like nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like that. I mean, that went out of control. So
yeah,
forget the control vaults. Like, what about the outside?
Well, in the TV show, they had like the people who worked at Vault-Tec, they were like selling it or getting like money from donors and stuff to say, well, you can do whatever you want with your vault,
Wow.
They can sort of get their own vault and do their own experiments, and so that was part of the selling point of getting the funds for it.
A Selman somewhere.
Right. And there's a bunch of sicko people in the world, so there would be plenty of rich people who'd be like, yeah, I can do whatever I want in my vault.
Billionaires. Yeah.
Yes.
I could see that happening for sure.
So Vault 13 is in Fallout 2. It was also a control vault. It was meant to remain ready and on standby until the residents were needed. They chose to remain isolated until their water ship failed, and it forced them to send the Vault Dweller, which is the main character of those games, for a replacement. So they send one person out into the world to be like, save us, So that was another one that was kind of a control. It's Vault 15 was in the same games. The social experiment in which a large population from diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds were forced to live together. Vault's opening was intentionally delayed by several decades.
Decades. Wow.
So they had them out there, and they're like, I'm supposed to be in the vault. And they're like, oh.
Nope.
Nope.
Technical difficulty.
Right, that's crazy. There's a Vault 17 where the inhabitants were kidnapped and transformed into super mutants.
Ooh.
So they gave them the FEV virus, which turns you into a super mutant. So maybe that was the start of them, because they're in most of the games now.
Yeah, I feel like you create your own bad guys in these kind of end day scenarios. Like, it's already the end of days in these scenarios, and then you're adding to it by making stuff like mutants and vault doors that perfectly
super
don't
mutants,
close.
and then they have all the radiation causes mutated animals.
Yeah.
But in the real world, they found out that stuff would get more sickly and probably smaller and not bigger.
Bigger. Yeah, I guess we've always been taught to think it would be bigger.
Yeah, they're not gonna have 3 eyes and like the Simpsons.
The Simpsons fish. Yeah.
They're just gonna be sickly, like things that barely live long enough to really reproduce or anything. But yeah, but in all games and shows, they're gonna get huge. They're gonna turn chameleons into deathclaws and rats into mole rats and whatever else, The mosquitoes into those darters or whatever. The big old blood bugs they're called, because they still eat blood, but they're huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, next one is Vault 19. This is the Fallout New Vegas section. Social experiment was studying effects of factionalism and means to induce paranoia and mistrust. Inhabitants divided into rival blue and red sectors, the Bloods and Crips.
Diabolical.
Yeah. So they had like subliminal messaging and fake acts of sabotage, and then they developed symptoms of psychosis and stuff like that. They were eventually occupied by some people from outside the vault, as what happens in these vaults. Like a lot of them in Fallout 4, like gunners or raiders take over the vault, because you know it's 200 years later, so
Yeah.
people are probably dead. Like there's only so much reproducing you can do before.
True.
And that's the end of this group of people. Like unless you have hundreds of people.
Yeah, and you need like doctors and stuff. Like, yeah, you can reproduce, but like,
Yeah.
you need to have healthy children, and then someone needs to teach those children to be doctors and at least doctors. You
Yeah.
get away with not having much else, but you need to know medicine,
Yeah.
some kind.
Yeah, and they don't really have a schooling system
Yeah.
in the post-apocalyptic world, you know? So I guess it's all like apprenticeship. Like every time you meet a doctor in Fallout 4, the guy's like, "Are you really a doctor?"
Yeah. How could you actually really be a doctor?
And they're always like, "That the best you're gonna get." Pretty much. Yeah, they had to learn the stuff themselves. Next one is another Fallout New Vegas one, and it is 19, I think. What number were we on?
Last one I think was 19.
Last one was 19. Yes, this website's skipping out. 21 is the next one. Inhabitants maintain a stable community until 2274, when Robert House successfully won ownership of the vault in the game of blackjack. Because it's New Vegas, so they're
New Vegas, so it still has like gambling.
yeah. So the social experiment was studying the effects of excessive gambling. All
Oh.
disputes were to be resolved through a game of chance.
Gosh.
They're so rude.
That's the most wholesome one yet. Of all, we should not making mutants. You're just making gambling out
Yeah,
of
with
it.
gambling people. And then another one from Fallout New Vegas is Vault 22. It's also in the Mojave Desert. A research facility studying and creating genetically modified crops and flora. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
one's good.
GMOs.
Yeah, I
They do
mean,
that now.
yeah, and I mean, it sounds like something you could actually use in the post. I can't say it. Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, but they genetically modify fungal infection and pretty much turn them into, you know, those ones from
The Last of Us.
yeah, the fungi people.
Clickers.
Yes. Then we skip up to Vault 29, which is in Fallout 76. I played that one like for a second, but it's a multiplayer game, and I don't like it because then you're gonna see other people in your game. I'm like, what are you doing in my game?
What are you doing here?
And then you have to like cooperate with other people. A lot of it's like, no, can I have a single player game? But no, they never put it to single player. A social experiment said to be full of rich, obnoxious teenagers. There is Vault 75 is like that in Fallout 4, where it's under the Malden school. It's like a middle school or something, and they only wanted kids because they wanted to like teach them to like fight and use guns and stuff, and have like society's kids.
Like warriors.
Yeah,
children.
and then once they got too old, they kicked them out of the.
I was gonna say, well, they grow up. Like, what happens? Oh, they just get kicked out. Jeez.
Or they became like one of the scientists, because there were still scientists in there too.
Yeah. Jeez.
Next one's Vault 31. Social experiment consisting of 3 interconnected but divided vaults. This is from the TV show. So 31, 32, and 33 were connected to each other. And the main character's from like Vault 32 or something. But they like marry between the 3 vaults. So it's a different group of people in each vault. So I guess that's how to keep genetically difference, because they had 3 different pools. But I think like 33, not spoiler alert, 33 or 31, one of them was just the cryogenically preserved people from the past, like who worked at Vault-Tec. So they would come out and then start reproducing and telling people, we're gonna repopulate the world, you know. Like, what was your agenda? But yeah, 3 interconnected but divided vaults. Extra security from threats is why they divided them. Secretly a pet project of Bud Atkins, a Vault-Tec sales executive who sought to use the vaults to create a population of loyal Vault-Tec employees to monopolize the wasteland. So yeah, he's like, Vault-Tec's the future and they're the greatest, so when you get out and we take over, you know that it's for the good of everybody.
Corporate brainwashing.
Right.
So like a Volt cult.
Pretty much.
Really? Is what that
Yeah,
one
so
sounds
because when
like.
she gets out, she's like, everybody's always like, everybody's like, pissed off because they didn't end up in the vault too, you know, and they've been suffering for however many years it's been. But yeah, all that's in California. That TV show takes place in California.
Has to be one of the 3 main popular places where everything takes place.
But when she gets out, she sees the pier or whatever, you know, 200 years later or however long that pier's still standing. It's lies.
Great construction.
Right. It's made out of wood and it's in the ocean. Like,
that's not how that works.
Vault 51. So we skip from 34 to 51. It's in Northwest Virginia. This is also next couple with Fallout 76. The social experiment, which Zach's AI was tasked with selecting an ideal overseer from the vault population. Zach's began manufacturing crises to test the abilities of inhabitants. The crises eventually escalated to lethal threats, then direct manipulation, encouraging the remaining inhabitants to kill one another.
Oh, so they like literally make you be violent against your other vault people, which is the only people really you're interacting with.
If you're not opening up and leaving, that's it. That's all you got. Jeez. And I've never seen like hundreds of people in a vault, so like you barely have enough people to reproduce for hundreds of years, you know. So Vault 63 is also from 76. And Vault 76 is set in West Virginia. It's built as the personal project of Vault-Tec board member Hugo Stoltz, not intended as a social experiment, but rather a facility to develop technologies that could be used to establish post-war society, including weather manipulation and large-scale robotics connected to above-ground facilities along with underground rail system. Well, it was never finished. In London, the London one, they have a weather control system. I think you can get one in Fallout 4 too. Or maybe that's just but in Fallout London, which the whole thing is a mod, you can get this holotape. This is what you put in your Pip-Boy to control the weather. So anytime there's like a radiation storm or something, you can put it in and be like, sunshine. It's
like a specialty thing though, right?
Yeah.
You have to like find it or something.
Yeah, it's in like a weather control place. Like, you know, people say they probably control the weather.
Control the weather tracking.
Well, they try to put experiments and stuff to try to control the weather as like a war thing, obviously, because everything they try to do is like a war thing. And then Vault 75 is the one I was talking about, the Malden Middle School. A social and medical experiment, which the eugenics program was used to breed young inhabitants into perfect soldiers. So they eventually revolted, and then the vault was empty, and then the gunners took over.
And I mean, that one was sick. There was no way that one could have succeeded because kids grew up.
Yeah.
So it just would not have worked.
And right, who's having more kids in here? Like,
yeah, the kids.
Like the scientists are having kids putting their babies in the experiments and stuff. Like,
hey, loyalists to these kind of crazy ideas would totally do something like that. So.
Yeah, that is great. And then Vault 76, which is what Fallout 76 is named after, is a control vault, and it's meant to house the best and brightest in order to help rebuild and secure local nuclear silos. They were instrumental in reconstructing the Appalachia area. And then there's a Vault 77. Obviously, there's vaults in between. We just don't know about them yet. Social experiment in which a single man was locked in a vault with only puppets.
Oh, jeez.
An unknown inhabitant was feared to the point of superstition by slavers.
I know he was mad.
Yeah, he had to go crazy. Like, eventually, you see puppets all day, you'd be like, that one for sure.
That one was for sure, right?
It's like I Am Legend, where you would talk to the mannequins as he was driving.
There's kind of a new episode of Doctor Who like that. It's not puppets, but there's like a creature like behind you, but it hides behind you. So when you turn, it is in front of you. So at no point can you actually see it. You can never see it, but it might peek out. So I might see it behind you. Then I'm like, what's that behind you? Then you go crazy and I go crazy because we keep seeing this thing behind you.
Sure, yes.
And they were kind of in a vault in that episode too. So yeah. She locked herself in like a room by herself. The girl who I think she kind of knew that thing was behind her.
Yeah.
But she figured if I'm all by myself, I won't see it.
Because it never does anything, right?
I mean, other than make everybody go mad because they keep seeing it.
Keep seeing it.
Yeah.
There's some crazy episodes of Doctor Who. Next, Vault 79, Secret Service facility intended to house the United States gold reserves. The reactor leak killed or ghoulified most agents assigned to the vault. Survivors were rescued by the residents of Vault 76. That's another Vault 76. Now we're on to Fallout 4, Vault 81. We had the 785 too. And Fallout 4 is set in Boston. So, research facility scientists in a secret sector of the vault would work to develop universal disease cure via experiments on the unwitting civilian population. So, yeah, when you go to Vault 81, they let you in to like help with trade and stuff because they're in like a 24-hour. There's 24-hour. Like, it's probably on here somewhere. It's making noise.
Like, am I losing my mind? Am I hanging
We're
out with the puppets? What is happening?
We're crazy. Anyway, yes, in Vault 81, you go in because they want trade and they're doing a 24-hour reconstruction because it's been 200 years and their vault's falling apart.
Yeah.
But they just recently opened to the public, whatever. And they've been having a successful vault, and then you find out later one of the kids get bitten by like a mole rat or something. And there's a whole nother section of the vault where they were doing experiments on mole rats to create diseases so they can create the ultimate cure. But they were supposed to do the experiments on the people eventually. They just started with the mole rats. But then one of the scientists or the original overseer was like, no, you can't experiment. So they locked the scientists in that other part. And they never let them do experiments, so they all just died in there. Because there were like 3 scientists on their own, and then they had a robot, so you can meet a robot. Curie in there, they named her Curie out of Madame Curie. And yeah, she does eventually create the ultimate cure, but there's only one. You have to give it to the kid to save him, or you can keep it for yourself. Because if you go down there, you might get the disease too. But to you, the disease doesn't kill you; it just like lowers your health for the rest of the game. Like you lose like 10 health for the rest of the game.
So it's not like
it's not
end of the game. It's just a minor inconvenience.
Right. It's a minor inconvenience to you, but this kid's gonna die if he doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. Unless I'm evil, then he will
Unless I'm
die.
evil, then he will die. But yeah, and then if you do give it to him, they give you a room in the vault so you can have a place to stay. Vault 87. This is from Fallout 3. Research facility studying the effects of forced evolutionary virus, that's the FEV, on humans. Civilian population was used as test subjects. So they created civilians. There's another one, made civilians. Vault 88, testing facility for experimental productivity boosting equipment to be used in the other vaults. This is one that they added in Fallout 4 after the main game. So it's like a DLC, and you could go be the overseer of this vault.
Nice.
You experiment on people.
It always takes a bad turn.
You can experiment, or you can say no. I hate Vault-Tec because they locked me in a thing and froze me for years.
Right. Hello.
So no, I'm not going to do experiments on people, but I will take your vault. Thanks. Vault 92 medical experiment testing means to induce aggression using white noise. They were driven insane and eventually killed one another.
See, I always hate the ones like that because that crap can really happen.
Yes.
Like, it's been proven there's like neighborhoods that are built too close to like power lines that have always had like sound pollution. And it's always like up north, of course. I never hear about it happening like in Florida because you have a lot more space in Florida, so like, or in the South, essentially you can separate houses. But there was a town, I want to say it was Connecticut, somewhere in Connecticut. Connecticut always gets all this stuff. And yeah, there was a school that had been built too close to the power line, and the white noise was like making all the kids really sick. Like they were starting to get like severe migraines. And as someone who has lived my whole life with that, yeah, that would drive you crazy. They started at a young age, just like I did and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I remember hearing that story. I think I saw a documentary about it, and it was white noise. And I'm like, I lived right next to that power plant for the first 17 years of my life. I'm like, did that have something to do with it? But I mean, I had the headaches here in Florida too.
And you fell on your head.
I did fall on it. You make it sound so bad, but it's so...
That's what happened.
Oh man, that was a good one. So right.
Let's see, Vault 92, and that's Vault 94, social experiment testing the viability of pacifist belief system in post-apocalyptic conditions. And inhabitants were members of a non-violent religious community, save a single Vault-Tec employee. He tried to tell them to arm themselves, but you know, they had the cult mentality.
Yeah.
And that they were all massacred by it. That's from Fallout 76. Back to Fallout 4, Vault 95, social and medical experiment in which addicts were given experimental rehabilitation treatments and encouraged to remain clean been informed of a secret stash of Ken's.
Oh my gosh.
So one of the companions, Kate, you take her there because she takes psycho all the time, which is and she wants to get clean eventually after she falls in love with you and she's your companion for a while. And she's like, I don't want to take that junk anymore. So she's like, take me to Vault 95, and they have a curing system in there. So they have like a thing that cures you of your addiction or clears out all the bad stuff from the addiction or whatever, and it takes you through rapid withdrawal or whatever. But yeah, then when you're exploring the vault, you find where the stash was, and then you see all the people in the bathroom stalls with the drug. They all fell off the wagon.
Maybe in a controlled system they would have run out of the drug.
Yeah.
And that might have helped them more than the treatment that they were
Right.
supposed
If there were
on.
no drugs here, yes, they would never get back on drugs. But
Yeah, they
drugs.
had it there to be like,
Are you sure you're clean? Yeah, it's me.
so bad.
Next one is Vault 96 from Fallout 76. A research facility intended to monitor and study mutated wildlife using genetic engineering to develop anti-mutant countermeasures staffed by only 5 individuals. Yeah, so they had automatic security that threatened to execute all those 5 people if they failed to meet their quotas. They eventually attempted to sabotage the security system and escape, but failed and were killed. Test subjects eventually began to escape. So the scientists were killed, but the test people were, yeah.
We're out. We found a way. We're peacing out.
Yeah, all these vaults are great. Vault 101 is in Fallout 3, social experiment in which overseers were granted unlimited authority over a vault intended to remain closed indefinitely. But then they started secret scouting parties into surrounding wasteland and recruited an outsider as a doctor. And then they eventually fell into civil war. So that's probably what happens, how you get out of the vault in that game. Like I said. Although, yeah, I think I do remember that because I think James is your dad. And his voice is Liam Neeson, so
Nice. They had a budget for that one.
I'm like, shit, that's Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And you grow up in the vault. It shows you different stages of your life in the vault, and then it shows your dad leaving or whatever, and then people start going crazy in the vault or something, or they're like, your dad left, he killed somebody or something, and then you better leave or they're gonna kill you. So you have to get out.
That reminds me of
and look for your dad.
that one show, the 100, I think. The Mount Weather or whatever.
Yeah.
There's people who had never left. It's kind of the same concept. They were just in a mountain hideaway, but it's the same concept as a vault.
Yeah.
Because they're the same thing, radiation or whatever. So
I didn't see that because I heard what happened in the relationship before I watched it. And I was like, nope.
the TV.
Saffron.
See how hard you have to think.
No, I know the name of it. I just don't remember the name of it. Winona Earp. That's Vault 106. That's the next one. Yes. Vault 106, medical experiment studying the effects of psychoactive drugs released via an air filtration system. Population erupted into violence after drugs were released. Ultimate fate of inhabitants is unknown. Drugs remain in the air supply for 200 years, causing insanity and hallucinations in people who injured.
Wow.
Well, there's a place like that. Hallucinogen is the name of the
Of course.
And they keep sending gunners, which are mercenaries, into there to get something or whatever, and they all go crazy. So when you go in there, they're all in there talking to themselves and sitting in the corner, or shooting each other. Yep. Vault 108, social experiments. They do. Studying effects of leadership conflicts. Most management positions were to be filled by a terminally ill overseer. Upon entry, power systems were designed to fail after 20 years. No entertainment was provided, and armory was provided triple the standard ordnance. In addition to the stated purpose, also provided with a cloning device. A single inhabitant, Gary, was cloned repeatedly. Clones eventually turned violent and overwhelmed. Yes, there's a vault full of clones all named Gary.
That would be really funny. But I want someone if they were to just do these kind of vaults as shorts, they would need to have a really good comedy funny celebrity, but like a Jason Momoa or John Cena, a big guy to do that and have him be all the Garys.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Maybe one day on the TV show
they'll do that a short, a bump at the end or something. That would be so fun.
Vault 111. That's the vault from Fallout 4 that you come out of. Medical experiment studying long-term effects of cryogenic stasis on unwilling subjects. unwitting, and yes, the all clear was never received. Then the Institute showed up to take Sean,
Justice.
kill your husband or wife. And you have to go out, find your baby, and kill those people. Or you could join them.
Because they don't, I mean, I guess they don't kill Sean, right? Like, they
No.
raise him.
Yeah, well,
So-
that's a spoiler.
Sorry. My
But
bad.
yes, he's still alive once you finally get to him. Barely, because he does that. Vault 112. Social experiment in which inhabitants were placed in a virtual reality simulation controlled by the Overseer. The Overseer, Stanislaus Braun, for his own psychotic amusement, tortured the inhabitants for centuries. That's in virtual reality. Every time I think of virtual reality, I think of Lewis and Clark. And I'm like, I wish it was where your mind goes in and you can't really tell that you're...
Yeah, and it actually looks like you're in the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's dangerous, because you might be disconnected.
Yeah, you get stuck in there.
Only two more, I think. Yes. Vault 114. And the website's reset. How rude, this website. Yes. Vault 114. Boston. This is in Fallout 4. Yes. Social experiment in which wealthy inhabitants. Oh, this is in the... this is where you find Nick Valentine, the detective. Well, she's my debate.
Nice.
But the social experiment was wealthy inhabitants would be stripped of luxury and forced to live in a cramped squalor under an incompetent overseer.
Well, that's so America today. Okay, got it.
Never finished the vault though. It was in as like a subway thing, and then they think it's due to fraud or embezzlement. The construction was never.
So I'm assuming all like the missing numbers are just vaults that haven't been discovered. So
Yeah.
who knows what
Vaults that we don't know the lore behind, or
crazy
they
stuff
haven't.
could be
created
happening
it.
there.
Because a new game comes out and you're like, hey, vote this one, vote this one.
Yeah, it makes sense not to put all your numbers in right away.
Yeah.
You can keep going for a long time with the
Or
story.
like they made the TV show and did 31, 32, and 34 or whatever. 33, 33, and 34.
Whomever the writers of this story is need to sit and actually write a book about all these vaults. Even if it's just short stories or even if it's just like more in-depth explanations. Because I feel like every single vault would make a great something.
Well, all of them have like a terminal you can read in there,
Mhm.
or they have holotapes where they're talking about like this one where they're talking about the incompetent overseer. They like have the tapes of them interviewing people.
Oh.
And so they have the interview of finally the guy they pick, and he's like, I'm not gonna wear pants. You can't tell me to wear pants. So that's who they want to hire to become the overseer.
Jeez.
Obviously that doesn't happen because they never finished the vault. But
Yeah.
but yeah, this crazy guy was like, I don't believe in the system. And then the last one on here is Vault 118. That's from the Far Harper DLC. You go over there and it's full of robots because the rich people put their brains into robots so that they can live forever, but they're robots. So, social experiment in which 10 wealthy residents would live in luxury while 300 impoverished residents lived in squalor, with wealthy residents granted total authority. The lower class section of the vault was never completed due to embezzlement of construction funds. Inhabitants of luxury section eventually transferred themselves into robo-brains to achieve immortality and continue to occupy the vault. Yeah, so you get in there because one of the regular robots, not the rich people robots, comes out,
Commoner
the
robots.
worker robots
Yeah.
comes out to look for a detective, and there aren't any detectives, and then they see you, and they're like, are you a police officer or something? And you're like, I guess. And you go
Yes,
back,
I am.
and you're like, there's been a murder, and then you go and it's a robot. And so you're like, there's been a murder?
A
And,
robot?
but then you find out that that's all the rich people have put their brains in the robot, so it was a person, I guess. But yeah, what happened was spoiler alert, the one who embezzled money, he killed one of the other ones and took over her body. So it was a guy, and to hide, he killed her so he could take over her body or pretend to be her. And then you question her husband enough, and he's like, she's weird now. She doesn't act the same anymore. Because she's not her anymore. She's the one who actually got killed, and this other guy's trying to get away
with it.
Yeah, so he's been pretending to be your wife.
It's whole
But
time,
no,
the
not
whole
like they
time.
do anything, I guess. But I think you can have sex with one of them. in there. And I'm like,
That's
how does this work?
weird.
So those are the vaults and the experiments that we know about so far.
That's really good. I love it. I love the lore of all of it. I will probably never fully play one of the games because, you know, my horrible eyes.
Yeah.
But I would read a book about these vaults all day.
Yeah, I'm sure there's way worse ones, you know, because it's a game and people play, they probably don't do as horrible as they could go, as they would go in the real world, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. So, moving on. Anything you're nerding out about right now?
Not really. Not new, I should say. Still just focusing. I finished the storyboarding for that story I want to write.
Nice.
And now I have to find time in life because I have no time for anything.
Plus you're working now.
Or sleep.
Yes.
Because look at my
Added
eyes.
that.
I'm so tired. I do have a job now, a full-time job. And it's not remote. And so I'm like, what is this out of the house? What is this outside world? I like being in an office. I don't mind that. And I like people enough. Like I can people for 8 hours a day. So it's like, that's fine. But training is in the mornings and I'm a nighttime worker. So my schedule is nighttime. I'm a nighttime person. So I am not acclimating to this morning schedule. And I know just when my body gets ready and acclimated, I'm going to be back on my normal schedule. So I'm like, ugh, so tired. But it's just hard because the first 3 or 4 days, my body would just not fall asleep. And it's time to wake up and my body's like, no, it's sleep time. Nope. Now it's getting up and being in the world. Yes, I know it's still dark outside. You have to leave. Yeah. That's the only part that's been tough. It's just not sleeping. But that's it. I mean, otherwise, same thing. I wore my Labubu costume again to another convention. I have a convention this weekend. I get to meet, well, not meet again, but see again, Misty Rosas. She's the performing actor for Quill from The Mandalorian, which is, I guess, for the 2 people who know me as me, know that it's one of my best costumes that I have. And I'm kind of friends with Misty on Instagram. I mean, we chat on Instagram. And she told me yesterday that she's looking forward to the weekend. And I was like, so that was great.
That's you nerding out.
Me nerding out for sure. I was like that with Ray Park for a minute, but he's going through it, man. The last 3 conventions, I was supposed to go see him and help him out and stuff. He hasn't been able to make it. It's okay. I mean, he has his health problems, so I guess it's like mental health problems. So according to what he has said publicly, that's not like inside knowledge or anything. And he just hasn't made it back to Florida. He's done a few in like closer to home conventions, but he hasn't made it all the way back out. So that's about it. And I get to meet the stunt doubles for the Mandalorian. So the ones that are actually in the suit most of the time. Not Pedro Pascal yet, but Pedro Pascal will be one day.
One day. So I get to see Misty and the 2 stunt doubles this weekend, and I'm very excited about that.
Cool. How about you? What are you nerding out about?
I guess I'm listening to a lot of books about souls and Dolores Cannon. People, like doctors who did like hypnotherapy with people, and then they ask them about their past lives. Because I've had my own past life memories or whatever. A session that I did, you know, it feels like you're just making stuff up. So maybe you are and maybe you're not. That's my issue with everything though, is like maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You know, you don't really know. Like there's a collective belief of what's true and what's not true. But does anybody have proof of anything? No. And I guess that's why they call it faith. You're supposed to just believe and move on. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. I need to know for sure. But so I'm into a lot of books about souls. I think it's called The Journey of the Soul, but you know, I have another one on Kindle or something that's The Soul Connection or something, where the psychiatrist or whatever helps like 2 of his patients or whatever, because they keep mentioning each other in their past lives, but they haven't met in the current life. So, you know, and they're both super lonely, and because they're looking for this person or whatever, or this soul or whatever, but they're like this close, but haven't met. And so he's like, it's kind of unethical for me to say, well, I know this is who you're talking about because you both have the same past life stories. So, is it right for him to say, hey, I think I know who your soulmate is? Because then you're telling on their business, I guess. But I think they would be fine with it.
I think they'd be fine. I mean, that might be the path that the souls were meant to take.
Yeah.
And he's just delaying it.
Yeah, but there's rules about these things. As my therapist says, we aren't friends. It's unethical to have these personal type of relationships with people you're helping or whatever in a psychological way or whatever. So, but yeah, stuff like that where it's about past lives and reincarnation and stuff. Just because I have a fear of death, so anything that'll sort of push that down or resolve that fear, I'm always interested to find out more about.
Like I said, always coming in deep with these really amazing topics and things that you're learning. Like, oh, so smart. That's like MK Ultra stuff right there. That's what they do to 11 and Stranger Things. But
I only watched like 2 episodes of that.
It was also something that happened back in like the 70s. Sure. They did experiments like that.
Yeah, the experiments with like the psychedelics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were trying to like astroplane and see if they can like figure stuff out.
They have the time travel and stuff, TV or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just you should do that, so we can see the real history instead of what you want to make up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Listen, if I could time travel just and see the past, I would totally just watch.
Yeah,
it would be interesting to see what really happened.
Agreed.
All right, well, that's our episode. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching with us. Let us know in the comments what your vault is in Fallout. What vault probably maybe you would want to be in or not be in for sure. One of the control ones probably. What else you're nerding out about, or anything you want to comment and say hey to us. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. See you. Bye.